Let's talk this
Yeah.
past weekend, man. What are some notable names that were there that Florida made some progress? Again, I think it was a fantastic spring game. Things looked awesome even without DJ Lagway, Aiden Warner, Harrison Bailey. The O line looked good. The running back room looked good. Dolly Wally, aka Dallas Wilson, looked good. So talk to us. What were some of the guys? What was some names that are excited for what they saw?
Yeah, I think starting with the D line, man, Vodney Cleveland, a four-star guy, former Alabama commit from Birmingham, Alabama. A guy that Florida's been really putting in the work for from the start of the year. They hosted him twice at the beginning of the year. They just brought him back a third time, obviously for the game, and they have an OV set. And then I spoke with them, I believe, what was it, Monday or Sunday, right after the visit, and he didn't want to do interviews in person. He kind of turned interviews down when we spoke to him after. But I got him on the phone. He said Florida's my number one now. And that was big. And in recent months, I've been kind of like tempted to put in a prediction for him, but I knew, Auburn's right there. I know there's been some buzz with Auburn. He's a kid that is still going to take OVs to like 5 or 6 schools, but for him to go on the record and say, "Hey, Florida's my number one school," that's a big development with him. You could tell every time he's on campus, Florida's really going overtime with him. About 2, 3 coaches, or all like Jeremy Patterson, assistant D line coach, is always with him when we saw him. Coach Chapman is always right by his side. So I think they're going to have to fend off some big schools. Obviously OV season's coming up, so he's going to be taking a lot of trips. But Florida's right there at the top. Veldon Sohn, another kid, another D lineman. Actually, he's from Sweden. He's one of those international guys that
Mm.
now in the States play football. Man, physically imposing, man. Looks like a college player already. He's a beast. The kid's a really big kid, not much fat on him. Just a really big, imposing kid that, I mean, he's visited Florida 6 or 7 times. So he has an OV in the summer. Right now, Florida, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Those are the three main schools. I know Blake put in a prediction for him earlier today as well. So when you look at that, two guys in the defensive line, in the trenches that were back in Gainesville last Saturday. One named Florida the leader, and the other one has a prediction out for Florida. Both physically imposing kids. And I think another one you definitely have to mention as well when you look at this list, CJ Hester. Blake and I both put in predictions for him today. A guy out of Coco, a guy that's ranked as a safety, but Florida likes him as a cornerback. It's funny. He visited for the A&M game last year. It was the same week he got the Florida offer. Named Florida's number one school, and then as went to the new year, Florida was kind of like top school, but then he went back on the number one thing. Then he told me like in March or February, "Hey, Florida's my number one school," but and then Will Harris left. That was a big thing for him, and Florida kind of slid down his list a little bit. Then you had Auburn, Georgia, all these schools, Texas jump in the mix. But I think all along, the two most consistent schools have been Florida and Syracuse. Syracuse has been pushing hard for this kid for like almost a year now, and those relationships with Fran Brown staff are strong. But I think right now with proximity, that's that being a major factor with him. Miami's another school with Will Harris; they're still recruiting him, but Florida's had way more buzz in Miami in this recruitment. And he told me, man, he was like, "Hey, like Florida's a school I'm so comfortable at that I wouldn't even have to take an OV to before committing. Like he's already that comfortable. He was there for the first day of spring practice, and obviously came back for the game. So that's a guy I think right now. This past weekend was a big step in the right direction for him. I think right now, OV wise, Florida, Syracuse, Auburn, Texas and Georgia don't have dates set, but he's looking at those. And then you have some schools like Iowa and UCLA. This kid, he kind of had the mid power four offers, and then the big dogs started coming in not too long ago. Florida got in last year, but Georgia and Auburn and some other schools, Texas just offered. But I think right now Florida's in a good spot, man. Jerron Wilson, the DB's coach, speaking to him every day. They said they speak at lunchtime, and it's funny to say that because I've talked to this kid a bunch of times. And he'll be like, "Hey, man, call me at lunch at school," and I'm always like hesitant because it's school hours. I'm like, "You sure you get to talk?" And like you hear, like he's in the audit, he's like in the cafeteria talking. So this guy like takes advantage of all like the time he can get when it comes to recruiting. But yeah, he said track practice, so they talk all the time, and I think that relationship. Kudos to Coach Wilson because with Will Harris leaving, that was probably his best relationship at the time, and they've really picked it up in recent weeks. So I think those are probably some of the main guys, not all of them, but some of definitely the headliners from last weekend.
Again, and another compliment to Billy and staff, right? With a great eval with Coach Wilson coming in because when Will left, bring his
Yeah.
perfect time to get organized. For me, a top priority is my financial wellness, which feels more important than ever. Thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable. They show me all my subscriptions right in one place and help me easily cancel ones that I forgot. I've been paying for. Rocket Money also pulls together all my spending across my different accounts so I can clearly track my spending habits and see where I can cut back. Listen, we're proud to be sponsored and working alongside Rocket Money, as you can tell. Been pumping this for the last couple of days. What's fantastic is you can see all of your subscriptions in one place. Not only that, but if you need to through the app, you can cancel your subscriptions on the spot, and Rocket Money will handle it for you, so you don't have to go through all the hassles and nonsense that those subscriptions typically run you through. It's also your little personal accountant. You can see how much is going out, how much is coming in, where it is going out. The wife's is ordering too much Amazon. You can see what's going on. I keep telling her it doesn't work. I even told her we got Rocket Money. We've got to be well behaved. That doesn't work either. But I'm doing my best I can, boys. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and save a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year on all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/hightopsports today. That's rocketmoney.com/hightopsports. Look, myself included, like we loved Will. He came in with the great buzz, a lot of energy, recruited well, and felt like he had some things going. But what Wilson's done that Will did not do when he came in is kind of picked up where things were and didn't drop the ball. And that's like Will was thrown into the fire because obviously Xavier Filsame and a couple of the guys that I recall that we were kind of like back and forth, and Will was unable to close. It's almost like we were not only able to close, we closed in on Javari Flowers, right? Which that was kind of in a little bit of a sus thing. And then we've closed in on Bryce Thornton and these guys that we felt that could possibly be altered from another way as well. And look, kudos to the staff for locking those guys in. So if again, evaluating Wilson, I know I've heard Vinny, he's come in and done some great things and has turned some top safeties, and they're now Florida's in favor that weren't before that.
Well, that's the thing too, man. You think of how good Florida finished the cycle in the DBs, like Hilton Stubbs, and obviously Javari Flowers just recently. Who else am I missing? What's his name? Lagonza Hayward. Yeah, I mean Ben Hanks. It really could have went bad if you really think about the timing when Will Harris left. He played a key role with all of them, and like when he left, I was like, man, these kids just signed. How is this going to play out? And then you think right away, you think Miami. Because, Ben Hanks and Hilton Stubbs are thinking, well, if they're going to change, then maybe they go to Miami. But like you said, kudos to the secondary staff, Coach Wilson, for like locking it down. And, all the other coaches too, even though they're not DBs coaches, Billy Napier, the recruiting staff, they really kind of, made sure those guys are comfortable and said, hey, a good hire is going to be on the way. So, man, no, like you said, critical, man. It could have went, and then you think Hilton Stubbs getting the interception this past weekend. It could have, the whole thing could have really went left. And yeah, so kudos to them. And then obviously with this class, Florida's doing pretty good with DB. And I think one other guy I will mention too, man, Kiku Amawa, he's a tight end at IMG Academy. I put in a prediction for him, was it yesterday? Kid's 6'6", 250 pounds. He has a crazy looking mullet, man. I don't know if you've seen this kid, but has like all hair team. Yeah. So this kid, oh yeah, all hair team for sure for this cycle. And this kid, Russ Callaway offered him in December, right before signing day. So we're like, you're following him, but signing day is approaching with the other class. So, but he got in campus that week. He's been in campus 3 times this year. Now coming back for OV. More of a run blocking guy, but a really good frame who's still learning the position. I think Florida's in a good spot with him. A guy I know from talking to people, Russ Callaway really likes him as a person. As a player. There's a really mature kid, man. You talk to him, and we'll see where that goes. But I think Washington and Florida are probably in the best spot. He's told me those are the 2 best relationships. But him being an IMG Academy, he's from Hawaii initially, but him being an IMG Academy, I think just only helps Florida, as far as getting the campus constantly. And Russ Callaway and Billy Napier, they've done a great job with them. He said, man, the first touchdown of the game was to Hayden Hansen. He's like, that was amazing. Like, I love the relationships at Florida, but I want to see how the tight ends are used. I don't know if that was on purpose, saying, oh my God, our guys in the stands, we had to dial it up. But yeah, man, so that was a good step in the direction. I think Florida wants to take a few tight ends. They have Caden Prothero, Heezy Kent, another big kid out of Georgia, 2 kids out of Georgia that Florida really likes. Camden Jensen, that's a 6'7" kid from Colorado who Florida is on top for. So, I mean, Russ Callaway has a lot of options this cycle, but I think with Kiki Amau, I think, Florida, I feel good. That's why I put the prediction. We'll see where it goes, but, he, that OV here next month or in 2 months, I'd rather say it's going to be a big one.
I love it, man. You talked earlier about the schedule for official visits. Is that mainly going to be packed out for June for Florida? Is that kind of what they're looking like?
Yeah, so they're doing the May 30th weekend. So what that June 6th through the 8th, June 13th through the 15th, and then June 20th, they're not hosting anyone. So they have three main official visit weekends. That's how they've always done it. They don't
Yeah.
pack it out. Some schools do June 20th through the 22nd. To our knowledge, no one has an OV set for that weekend, and I was told that it was just going to be the other three. But then obviously Felix Ojo, the difference, man, they're like, hey man, no, come in whenever. Like we don't care when the date is. He's coming in mid-May, like by himself. So we'll see. There's another kid, Brett Collegier of IMG Academy, that he couldn't take an OV. I mean, his OVs are set in June, and the May 30th weekend he can't go anywhere. It's something to do with his family, and he wants to take a mid-spring visit as well. 4-star kid, but I put Felix in a different category than some of these other kids. So we'll see if they budge for others. Maybe they do. They're like, hey man, we already have one kid set for OV that weekend. Let's screw it. Let's get a few more if we can. But traditionally, it's just gonna be those 3 weekends in June.
Tell them, man, where they can find you. I know you've been working overtime here the last couple of days and posting some RPMs and all kinds of stuff, man. So how they can keep up with you if because it moves quick.
Yeah, man. No, Gators Online, simple as that. As far as the website, obviously with Blake on board now too. We have a great team, man. Like I said, I feel like a lot of recruiting coverage. Zach's been really plugged with the team stuff. Keith is obviously doing a lot of team stuff too. It's funny. A lot of us have recruiting backgrounds, but with Gators Online, with On3, they kind of have us kind of intertwined doing both roles. So some days I'll do some team stuff, but mostly recruiting. But yeah, Gators Online, man, and then my personal account is Corey_Bender, and yeah, $1 right now for the first week if you join. And yeah, man, come chat with us, man. Have a good time. It's definitely fun over there right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The buzz is hot and heavy, especially in those forums. Keith was inviting me too, so I gotta get up in there to chit chat it up. I'm more just a creeper kind of. Just
No, it's funny. Before I got this job, I was the same way, man. Like it's been for year 14 now, but before when I was like in the fan mode or like not on like the actual websites with forums, same thing, man. I would read stuff, but I would never comment. Like I would just kind of be like, oh, just browsing through. So I'm right there with you, man.
as much as I talk, I kind of feel like I talk enough. Sometimes it's nice just to.
Yeah, I mean, then you're busy throughout the. You have kids, right? You have kids.
I have a kid and I have another kid on the way. So then it would be plural. Yes, sir.
Oh, me too, man. So I have a son. I have a kid on the way as well, man. We're
Oh, congrats!
in the
When
same
when's
boat. Oh,
when?
congrats to you too, man.
Thanks, man. What do you know what you're having and what do they do?
Not yet, man. So it's due in. I said it's due because we don't even know the gender yet. It's like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mid-November. So we're still kind of for end
Okay.
of the going to the second trimester. But yeah, man. Yeah, we're in the same boat, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got a son too. We're not finding out. We're late September, so my this one was
Okay.
born in November. That's a great time, man. Right before Thanksgiving, you get some time off for the holidays.
Yeah,
It's if I do it again, if I could do it again, which this is it, but that was the
yeah.
sweet spot. Outside of being
So
in the
you
middle of
say
football season.
you're not going to find out the gender ahead of time? You said.
No, we didn't do it for this one
Oh
either.
man. Yeah, man, that's anxiety for me, man. I could not see for me, I'm like already ready for the gender, but no, man, I'm happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. You too. Listen, can't wait to find out what it is. I'll get to live vicariously through you, so I'll get my fix and
Yeah,
be
dude.
good.
Yeah, we'll reconnect about it for sure. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you, Corey. We'll see you boys in the next one. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, give Corey and On3 a follow. See y'all. Peace and love, baby.